welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the E.L.F. bite-sized face duos. If you do want to see a review in swatches, please keep watching. Each palette retails for $3. I purchased mine on E.L.F.'s website. These are going to be available in stores in early August in Walmart. I'm not sure if it's a Walmart exclusive, but that's what I read on their Instagram page. Let's go ahead and try these little mini face duos. Here's a closer look on what the bite-sized face duo looks like. You get a highlighter on one side and a blush on the other. Some palettes do have bronzers and highlighters. We're going to start with the first shade in Cantaloupe, and then on the back you do have the ingredients and the barcode. We're just going to peel this to open. Here's what the inside looks like. You get 0.16 ounces or 4.6 grams of product. We're going to start with the highlighter. Ooh, this is so soft. Here's what the highlighter looks like. Wow. It's super pigmented. Taking an eyeshadow brush and we're going to be dipping into the highlighter. It does have a little bit of fallout. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, that is so pretty. Wow. That is reflective. Was not expecting that. I'm going to try to blend it out using my finger. I'm not really a highlighter person. I'm more of a blush person. That's why I purchased all of them. Taking a blush brush, blend this out. I toned down the highlighter to my liking. Now we're going to see what the blush looks like applied on my cheeks. So I'm just going to be taking my Lisa Frank blush brush. I feel like the blush shade is way too light for me. I do want to try and build up this shade. There we go. Now we have some color. I do think that the blush shade is a bit too light for my skin tone. This would be great for fair skin complexions. On the other side of my face, I'm going to be applying the shade in White Peach. Here's what White Peach looks like. Again, a beautiful duo. Here's what White Peach looks like. Let's swatch the highlighter. Again, very smooth. Here's the blush. Very pretty. Here we have the blush and the highlighter. I do want to blend these out again, just so we can see what it looks like. I know I forgot to blend out the first two shades. That's very pretty, you guys. Definitely blend out the first two. I'm going to be using the same eyeshadow brush, but I'm just going to be cleaning it using a quick dry spray. This is from Sonia Kashuk. Now that my brush is nice and squeaky clean, we're going to go in with the highlighter. Taking a little bit of the highlighter on my brush. Ooh, again, it's very pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. I'm using my finger. We'll blend it out. Here's what the highlighter looks like. It's so blinding. I'm going to be using the same spray to clean my blush brush. We're going to see what White Peach looks like. It's very subtle. I have to build it up. But so far, it looks very natural. Here we have White Peach. Very pretty combo. I love this. This, not so much. It's too light on me. I can definitely use the shade in Cantaloupe as an eyeshadow. I think that would be really pretty. Let's actually try that. Taking a clean eyeshadow brush, dip into the blush shadow, run this on my crease, just so we can see what it looks like. And then we can pop the highlighter in the center. Take your time with this shade because you do have to build it up. It is very subtle, but I do want to see what the highlighter looks on top of it. A little bit on my finger. We're just going to pop this on the lid. Taking that same brush, I'm just going to blend out the edges. Such a pretty eye look. I do want to do the same thing with the shade in White Peach. Taking another clean brush, we're going to dip into White Peach. I'm going to be blending this in my crease. Pack this shadow all over the lid. Taking my finger where the highlighter shadow is, a little bit, and then patting that on my lid. Going back in and just blending out the edges. I can actually use this on the eyes and on the cheeks. It's definitely wearable for me. Whereas this side, I can't really wear the shade in Cantaloupe. So let's move on to the next mini palette. Next shade is called Guava. Here we have Guava. Another pretty duo. Let's blend it out. We can see the highlighter, but not too much of the blush, so I do want to build up the blush. That's a little bit better. I tried to build up the blush, created a bigger swatch by accident, but that's really pretty. Let's see what it looks like applied on the face. Taking my clean eyeshadow brush, we're gonna dip into the highlighter. Ooh, again, very pigmented. I'm gonna take my finger, blend this out. Here's what the highlighter looks like. I used a little bit too much of the highlighter, but let's see what the blush looks like. Taking my clean blush brush, we're gonna dip into the blush. The blush is very subtle. I'm gonna use my finger to see if we can build it up. I guess that's a little bit better. I'll go back in using my blush brush. I love it. On the right side of my face, we're gonna be applying the shade in Watermelon. Here's what Watermelon looks like. Highlighter and a blush. Let's swatch the highlighter. I'm not sure why I applied the blush first and then the highlighter. It should have been the other way, but that's fine. Let's blend these two out. Taking my clean eyeshadow brush, we're gonna dip into the highlighter shadow. The highlighter is different. It's really pretty though. I do want to blend it out using my finger, like an icy white highlighter. The highlighter is so pretty. I can definitely see myself using this as an inner corner highlight. Now we're gonna try out the blush in Watermelon. Here we have Watermelon. I want to apply this to the eyes just to see what it looks like. It does have a little bit of iridescence to it, which I didn't notice until I applied it to my eye. I don't mind it. I'm going to be taking a small pencil brush, dipping into the highlighter, pop this in the inner corner. I was not expecting that from the shade in Watermelon. It does have an iridescent shift to it, the blush and the highlighter. I'm going to be doing the same thing with Guava, taking a little bit on an eyeshadow brush, applying it to the eyelid. I've already applied the blush shade in Guava on the eyes. You can definitely see a noticeable difference with the two different face duos. Taking a flat brush, we're going to dip into the highlighter. I'm going to pack this on the eye. Very beautiful. Here's one last look on what Guava looks like. Let's move on to the next face duo. The next shade is called Lychee. Here we have Lychee. Let's see what the blush looks like. Then we have the highlighter. I forgot to blend out the previous shade, but let's first blend out Lychee. And then we'll blend out Watermelon. We'll first start out with the highlighter. Again, I did clean my brush. Another golden champagne highlighter. I'll use my finger again to blend it out. I didn't use too much this time. Here's what the highlighter shade in Lychee looks like. I'm going in using my clean blush brush. Very subtle again. Going in using my finger to build it up. These are buildable, which I really like. And like I said, I do like a subtle blush. It looks more natural. I'll go back in using my brush. Here's what Lychee looks like. Another beautiful duo. On the right side, I'm going to be applying the shade in Pomegranate. Here's a closer look on what Pomegranate looks like. Here we have Pomegranate. Let's swatch the blush and the highlighter. So the blush first, and the highlighter. Pomegranate looks more pigmented than Lychee. Let's see what it does swatch like. Here's what Pomegranate looks like. Let's blend it out. Pomegranate is definitely more pigmented than the previous shade in Lychee. I've clamped my brush again. We're gonna dip into the highlighter. A little bit goes a long way. I'm gonna be using my finger just to blend it out a bit. That's much better. Now we're gonna go in with the blush shade. I thought Pomegranate would be more pigmented on the cheeks. I do want to build it up a little bit. Pomegranate is so pretty. We're gonna apply the blush shade on the eyelid. Here's what Pomegranate looks like on the eyes. I'm going to be applying this on the center of my lid. Going back in using that same brush to blend in any harsh lines. And here we have Pomegranate. Taking another clean brush, we're going to dip into Lychee, taking the blush shadow and applying that all over the eyelid. Here's what Lychee looks like. Using my finger, I'm going to be applying the highlighter in the center of my lid. Going back in using that same eyeshadow brush, we're just going to soften the edges. I know I said I was going to be using the highlighter shadow in the center, but I always tend to put it all over the lid. Here we have Lychee and Pomegranate. Let's move on to the last two face duos in this collection. The last two face duos are bronzers. Well, I hope they are. This one I know for sure is a bronzer, but I'm not sure if this is a bronzer or a deeper blush shade, but we're definitely going to test it out. This shade is called Spiced Apple. Here we have Spiced Apple. This definitely looks like a blush shade. Very pretty. So yeah, definitely it's a blush. Here's what Spiced Apple looks like. Going in using my clean eyeshadow brush, we're going to dip into the highlighter. I'm going to be taking my finger. This is a true gold shade and it'll look great on deeper skin complexions. Even on me it looks really good. Taking my clean blush brush, we're going to dip into the blush. I really love this shade in Spiced Apple. Subtle and pretty. On the right side of my face, we're going to be applying the shade in Coconut. Here's what Coconut looks like, a beautiful bronzer. I'm not sure how the bronzer would look like on all skin tones. That's what the bronzer shade looks like. Running out of arm space, so I'm going to apply it here to the bottom. Hopefully you guys can see it. Actually, I'm going to be applying it on the back of my hand. You guys see it? I'm going to blend it out. There we go. Very pretty. Here we have all 8 palette swatched on the back of my hand. Well, the other 2 are like almost there. Taking my bronzer brush, we're going to dip into the shadow in Coconut. I'm doing bronzer first, but I want to see what it looks like. Oh, it's very subtle. I like that. I'm not sure how this shade would look on fair skin tones. It would be too dark. If you go in with a light hand, I think it'll look good. Here we have the bronzer. It looks really good. Now let's apply the highlighter. Here's what Coconut looks like. I do want to see what the face duo looks like applied on the eyes. I'm going to be taking a clean brush, applying that all over the lid. Yeah, it's very subtle. If you go in with a light hand, I definitely think it'll look good on all skin tones. Here we have Coconut applied on the eyelid. I'm going to be taking my finger and applying this all over the lid. Going back in using that same eyeshadow brush, we're going to just blend in any harsh lines. Really pretty. Applying Spiced Apple on my eyelid as well. Use my Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush, dip into the blush, apply this all over. I love the blush in Spiced Apple. Taking my finger, we're going to be applying the highlighter all over the lid. Going back in using that same eyeshadow brush, blending out. My final thoughts on the e.l.f. face duos is that I really do like all of them. These 6 shades I really did love. The other 3 shades are a little bit too light for my skin complexion, but I'll still be using it as an eyeshadow. The 3 shades are Guava, Cantaloupe, and Lychee. There's only one bronzer shade in this collection. That's in the shade Coconut. If you are fair, go in with a light hand. If you have a deeper complexion, I'm not sure if this bronzer would show up. The highlighter will look gorgeous on deeper skin tones and even on my skin tone and even fair skin tones. I definitely think the highlighter will show up. Watermelon watermelon surprised me because it did have that iridescent shift to it. I wasn't expecting. I really do love this shade. Pomegranate has to be my favorite face duo in this collection. It's super pigmented. A little bit does go a long way. Same thing with the highlighters. The highlighters do feel repetitive because they are a lot of champagne and golden shades. I would have preferred maybe a duochrome highlighter or something like that. I know that we all probably reach for the same highlighter, but I don't normally use highlighter. I rather use it as an eyeshadow. I really do like these from E.L.F. They retail for $3 each per palette. Each shade you're paying $1.54, which I definitely think is affordable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which face duo was your favorite? If you guys have purchased these face duos from E.L.F., please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.